Today seems like a great day to dive in, so let's do that. Happy New Year, y'all. It is 2024. We made it. No matter how we got here, no matter what happened before then, we here now. So what we can do now is embrace it. Let's embrace it. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's talk about leaving the past behind and moving forward to the future. It's 2024. And so going into 2024, normally when the year changes, everybody talk about their New Year's resolutions and what they left in 2023 and what they want to bring into 2024, how they want it to be different, what their life was like how they let time go, like where they should have been, where they felt, all the things that come with years changing. But it's just another day. It's just a different year, but the day is still 24 hours, right? You live to die, unfortunately. But fortunately, because hopefully I get to live in the sky and you do too. I'm just imagining that's where he is. That's what I got. He's in the sky, right? But what happens when we feel like or feel bad kind of for leaving things behind that we know we should have been left behind, right? Sometimes I look at my life. So I've changed in a lot of things that I've done in my life. I've grown. So I'm not going to say I've changed. I'm just going to say I've grown. And who I am. I've grown in my relationship with God. I've grown to who I know myself to be. I've grown into a better version of myself because there was always times where I backtrack, of course, because we're sinners. So there's always times where I backtrack and I try to change it back and get back on the right course. But this seems like the longest that I've, held out doing well. So when I have conversations with people who are doing things that I used to do, they often say, well, you don't get it. Or we know Ariel is like this. We know Ariel won't understand. And I kind of look at it, because I'd be like, is they coming for me? Like, was that a shot? Like, and I'm working on this easily offended thing. Yeah, I'm working on it. Right? Because that's something that God tells us not to get easily offended. And baby, that is a struggle within myself that I have to fix because I can't blame nobody else for me being, getting so offended. And I'm working on it. And I can honestly say I'm getting better. But with that, people will go out their way to tell me what I don't understand or what I don't get because I follow God. And I'm so heavy on the God is for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm so heavy with it. I give him praise for everything. I let people know that's where it came from. I let people know that's where I'm going with it. It just is what it is. Because at the end of the day, that's what he wants me to do. Right? People are supposed to look at me and see God. That's the representation of what God's people is like. Yes, I stumble and fall. But as long as I'm constantly trying to live better and do right, then, he sees what it is. So they'll say, she don't get it. Or Ariel, you don't get it. And they kind of leave me out of jokes and stuff, because I don't get it. Because I don't drink alcohol like that, because I don't listen to sexual music like I used to back in the day. I don't get it. Because I don't twerk, I don't get it. Because I don't follow celebrities' life, I don't get it. Because I'm not trying to place myself in the middle of a situation that isn't for me, I don't get it. Because I don't sit around and talk about people. I don't get it. But there was a time when I did get it. And honestly, I still do get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because somebody changes doesn't mean they don't understand where you are, how you've grown, how you're moving forward in your life. And I could use this as an example as far as a parent and a child. We've done things or we did things when we were kids that we definitely don't want our kids to do. Right? But that's growth because I know better now. I didn't know better then, but I know better now. And so therefore, I want the people after me to do better. That's kind of where I am, right? I know better now. I know better that I don't control the outcome of my life. I know better that my thoughts not changing anything of what I feel like it should go. I know that I can only control what, God allows me to control, and everything else is out of my control. So worrying constantly, thinking about this, overanalyzing everything, overthinking everything, like I know better now because it's what is that's going to do. And honestly, that's something I'm still working on. So I don't get on here and try to make it seem like I'm perfect, but I've noticed that people who are struggling to find their relationship with God kind of puts me in a bubble on my own, not by my doing, not by my own doing, because I'm never making it seem like I'm better than anybody else. I think they don't know how to act around me without thinking they're going to offend me. And I've said this before. Your relationship with God is just that. I am not here to judge you. I'm not here to, pull you this way or that way. It's just my job to tell you who he is, how great he is, how loving he is, how caring. That's my job. Everything outside of that, I pray for you. I let him do his thing, and that's that. But I've also noticed that in the midst of me starting this, people kind of feel differently about me, and this could be in my head. It just seems like they move in a different direction. Kind of like those people that I was telling you about that be like, she don't understand. Just because we're different in different generations, moving in different ways, doesn't mean the person that you're around doesn't understand. Honestly, I've met a lot of wise children that act more mature or act like they have more knowledge than overgrown adults. It's life experiences. It's how you're moving to get better. It's who you're becoming and who you're allowing God to show you, who he wants you to be, that helps with your growth in the world. God will place the people in my life that's meant to be there. Me trying to, or me feeling like it should work doesn't mean that it will. That just might be something that I want, because honestly, we're all looking for community in some type of way. If I'm in, deep into church, I want church friends who don't say things like you won't understand or you don't get it. I want people to welcome me with open arms, kind of like the same way that I would welcome them with open arms, but that's not always the case. But as you move forward in your life, sometimes moving forward away from people and everything changing around you, sometimes you start to kind of feel guilty, because I don't want them to feel like I'm better than them. I don't want them to feel like, the way that I'm moving has anything to do with them. I don't want me talking to them less, or me not going out with them brunching, or me not doing this and doing that. It's changing who I am, because it's not. It's just I'm learning to put myself in better situations. I'm learning not to put myself in situations where peer pressure kind of plays a part. Because I was just talking to my best friend about this the other day. Honestly, we as adults still kind of sometimes let peer pressure get the best of us. Like, it doesn't stop in middle school or elementary school. It's like, as adults, I feel like I have to be doing the same thing that my friend, quote unquote, is doing, or somebody that I'm close to, quote unquote, is doing, in order for us to still be friends. But it's not like that. I should be able to be who I am. I should be able to grow in God. I should be able to make mistakes. I should be able to become a better person, all in front of your eyes, all while you accept me for who I am. But see, that's not the world that we live in. And see, sometimes when you do things like that, it kind of makes you feel kind of guilty. Did I do something wrong? You kind of place the blame on yourself. Like, is it me? But no, it's not you. God is moving you in a whole different direction. God is shifting you. And he's also wanting you to see the people that you hang around in a different light. Not to say that those people can't go with you, where you're going. Is to say, is that the group you need to be around right now while you're growing? Is there something you can help them move closer towards me so y'all can all move together, or are they just not there yet? And that's okay, because everybody is not always in the same place at the same time. That's in marriages, relationships, friendships, nobody's the same. And sometimes we kind of feel like that's what it is. Or sometimes we feel like, well, you got to be doing this because I'm doing this, and I got to be doing that because you're doing this. And who said that? Nobody said that. So I was reading my Bible, because as I'm talking to y'all about feeling guilty about different ways that I move in my life, I was reading my Bible. The verses in Genesis where God called Noah when he decided to wipe off the face of the earth. The people in the world that I created, they doing a lot. I don't appreciate it. So let's just go ahead and wipe off the face of the earth, right? But Noah found favor. And after all was said and done, and Noah was able to bring his family and his kids' wives and their families with him in the ark and the animals, God shut the door for Noah. Noah didn't shut the door for himself. In Genesis 7, verse 16, it says, they came to Noah into the ship in pairs, Everything and anything that had the breath of life in it, male and female of every creature, just came as God had commanded Noah. Then God shut the door behind him. God sometimes shut doors behind us. God sometimes does things that we don't understand. And he does it for us so that we don't feel guilty or hold anxiety or hold different things in that aren't for us to hold. Sometimes he does it so that it can take the weight off of our shoulders. But you know what? When he shuts the door for us, most of the time, you know what we go do? We go back and get it. We go back and backtrack, wondering what happened? Why? What could I have done better? Why wasn't this different? We go back. But he does it for us so we don't have to feel like we need to go back. So we don't have to feel like what we're doing is wrong, but that we're living our lives letting him be the roadmap to where we're going. And all we have to do is take a step back. Sometimes we don't understand. Sometimes we're not going to get it. We're not going to understand what's happening. I've had things like that happen in my life where I don't understand. Like, I feel guilty for something I shouldn't feel guilty for because I am living for me and I want what's best for me. And at no point in my life, the people that I'm chasing behind trying to be like or doing the things they doing is they going to talk to me before they make a life-changing decision in their life. They're going to do it and then they're going to tell me about it afterwards. Because at the end of the day, everybody is living their life for themselves. I don't want to live my life according to the world. I don't want to live my life according to what people was doing that I'm no longer doing. I don't want to live my life like that. And I shouldn't feel guilty for changing up who I am because in this world, in this thing called life, we want to be better than we were the day before. That is the goal. And I'm struggling as far as continuing to push towards that goal, but I'm going to keep struggling and walking straight. I'm not going to go back because what is going back doing for me? And in the midst of me being who I am right now, where was I at? Where in my mind, in my headspace? Was I better off right now where I'm at, heading toward God? Or was I better off back then, steady moving away from him? I'm going to choose right now. Because even though I'm struggling to fully understand and comprehend what it is that he wants me to do, even though I have moments where I'm like, really, I feel like I'm doing it. I know that I'm doing it. I have to step back and say, who you think you are? If they judge God and convict God, who I think I am, to where I feel like I can't go through it too. I'm going to have battles. I'm going to face trials. But it's up to me to remember how much God loves me. It's up to me not to feel guilty for something that he pushed out of my life, pulled out of my life. Because he wants people to look at me and say, she follows God. He wants people to look at the people around me and say, you can see the love of God in them. You can see it. Not to be easily offended by things that people say because they right. I might not get it, but I used to. It's just that I took the necessary steps. And I'm not judging anybody else for being on their own timeline. That is their timeline. All I can do is focus on what God and who God wants me to be on the path that I'm headed on in this world of life. Because it is very rocky and it's upside down. But I know that if we continue to push towards him and utilize our time the way that we can with God at the head of it, we can do any and everything. We just have to know that taking that first step is going to be hard. You might even backtrack sometimes, but take the step and take the next step again and take the next step again until you figure out how you like to walk. As always, I love y'all. And I'll be back.